Hello, welcome to Undisputed Boxing. We're back a little bit late on this, but only one place to start. Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte. Finally, it's on. Purse bids were won by Frank Warren and BT. I think a little bit of help from Bob Arum and Top Rank. I'm here to talk through it and a little bit more news with Rick. If you are new to the channel, please help us out, like and subscribe. Trying to get to that all-important 100 subscribers. Yeah, as I say, we're a little bit late, 2 days late, so apologies for that. How are we doing, Rick?
All good, all good.
So, I was wrong. It is going to be next. I think we did a
Well,
video. How long ago was it I did this video where we did, I said that I just don't think it's going to happen.
You've said it a few times. We did do 1 or 2 videos in depth about it, but I mean, let's see. I mean, it's on its way, I suppose, but things could hamper it. I think, we have to see what the contracts look like. Will there be the sticking point? I think we might get is rematch clauses.
Yeah,
because I know normally on a mandatory there isn't any, but Klitschko used to do it, Joshua does it, so Fury could well do it, and then I don't know, that makes things difficult, and it depends as well what they may make this difficult, because I mean I know you got a suspicion that they just don't want the fight, or his team don't want the fight rather than Fury, and could they say, okay, yeah, you can have your 20%, and there's a rematch clause, and if you win, you get 20% again. And they'll just go, well, no way. It should be at least 50-50 if I win, or spin it round. I should be on the 80%. So it's not home and dry, but it's looking like that. It's looking like it will be Whyte though.
Yeah. So what do we know so far? So the purse bid was 41 million. Obviously, Queensbury. Yeah, huge.
Whopping. The biggest ever purse bid. And Matchroom's 32, I think if they'd have won with 32, that would have been the biggest.
Yeah.
That's how big it is. And I found out something the other day. Do you know what I don't know the exact number, but I think it's around 31. Do you know what the biggest purse bid was before that?
No.
That was around 31.
Go on.
It was a Buster Douglas versus Holyfield.
No way, really. That's incredible. Good knowledge.
Well, I did see another video on it. Now, if you bring inflation in, it isn't. It's bigger than 31, but still. Yeah.
Interesting. Like to drop a little bit of knowledge on Undisputed. All right. Well, so it's obviously going to be on BT, ESPN pay-per-view, BT pay-per-view. What about location? Is it going to be Millennium Stadium?
They say Cardiff's the front runner. Wembley's been spoken about, but yes, weirdly, it's from what I've heard, it's heavily Cardiff, and because of the roof, and I'm like, well, it's going to be end of April, beginning of May. Why can't you use Wembley? It holds more.
Yeah. Doesn't it need to happen before end of April though, legally?
29th, which is a Friday. So whether they'll say, "Oh, just do it on the 30th," but if both teams agree that it can go a bit longer, I'm sure they'd let it. I don't know why it has to be. It's a ruling, but if both teams are all right with it, then what it could go into May. So I don't know why it can't be Wembley. Because Joshua Klitschko was April and Wembley. So there you go. But so 41 million. Whyte's going to get just over 8. Fury 3.2. Oh, sorry, 32. We might have thought 33. Interestingly, though, those numbers are not exactly right, because the way the WBC do it is they take 10% off. So 4.1 they take off, and that goes to the winner. So then it's 90% of 41 that they then share 80-20. So Whyte's is about 7.4, and Fury's is 29.5. And and then the winner gets 4.1. So if Whyte loses, he actually gets a bit less than 20%.
Yeah.
And if he wins, he gets a fair chunk more. So I didn't actually know that was WBC rules. I didn't know they did that, but apparently it's what they do with purse bid ones anyway.
Yeah. It's not a good split, is it, really? If you think about, like, in terms of like fairness, I just don't think this is a fair split at all. But maybe Dillian Whyte obviously fancies the job. Maybe they know something more about, and this is the other thing where it could unravel if, the arbitration rules that Whyte should get a better percentage or slice of the pie. Does that then, does the fight then fall apart? Does Fury then just vacate?
Yeah, possibly. And there's talk of, I think Hearn's mentioned it. I think Warren's denied it. I've not seen the Warren video, but what any of them says, you just don't know. But when you hold the A side of the fight, which Fury is, and I mean, I think this is a bit of a tough split for Whyte. I've always thought more 35 probably. Yeah. Would be the mark for me. I think the 45 he wants is over the top. But then it's negotiation, isn't it? Aim for 45 and get 35. But when you hold the A side on a purse split, you can manipulate things a bit more and you can put in a bigger bid. So keep things simple. This 41 million, forget this 90, the 10% to the winner, it just confuses things. So say it was just 41, you'd get 33 going to Fury and 8 going to Whyte.
Mm.
If they'd already agreed with Fury that he'll get 20 million, and Fury is all right with that, then all they have to do, their actual cost is 28 million.
Yeah.
But they put in a bid of 41 and they win it because the bid's 41, but they only actually end up paying 28.
Right.
Now I'm making that number up that Fury's agreed 20, you might have said 25, but that's how you can get a higher bid.
Right.
And Hearn's mentioned it. Hearn's done it, said he's done it before. When you've got that A side so high, 80%, you can agree a price with them, and then your bid goes in.
Yeah. And
you're only paying it's only Dillian Whyte's 20% has anything to do with that purse bid.
Yeah.
And obviously Hearn can't do that.
No.
Because $41 million, it depends how BT do. Sky was always the revenue from the pay-per-view, half went to Sky, half went to the pot. Depends what happens with BT and kind of ESPN, but you've got to be doing fair north of 1 million buys, I think, to make this work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it has to be at 1.7, but 1.2, 1.3, which is doable. And you fill out Wembley, but it feels tight, 41, for anyone to make any money off it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think maybe Fury won't be on the 33. He may be on 25 or 20, and then they've got actually, if we have to clear 35 to make a profit, that might be more doable. So it'd be interesting. I mean, it will sell big. It will. I struggle to see it not getting into the millions, but it's how far into them.
I think all depends on the promotion as well. I mean, how much are they going to put into the build-up, press conferences? It's going to be heavily reliant, I think, on the UK market.
Yeah, hugely.
I know that Fury has got obviously a big following in the US now, but not a lot of them tend to know who Dillian Whyte is. He hasn't really fought in the US a lot. I know he's had 1 or 2 fights out there, but they weren't high-profile fights. He hasn't really fought any big names in America. But
and it won't be on an ideal time for pay-per-view.
No.
It'll be on like 5, 6 o'clock, I think, the main event. So,
well, Bob Arum has come out and said, Bob Arum thinks he's going to do 500,000 pay-per-view buys on ESPN in America. I don't know if I could see that.
No, I mean, what did Wilder do?
Which one? Well, I think the first one did about 300,000.
Yeah, the second one. Was that the second one 600,000?
Yeah, the second one did a lot better commercially. Let me have a quick look now. So, well.
And what about the third one?
The third one, not so well. I do remember that because it was one of those kind of the trilogy that nobody really kind of wanted, even though it did turn out to be a mega fight.
Yeah, I've got 600 in my head.
Yeah, you're right. 600,000 was the third one. Good knowledge.
Yeah, so I
1.2 million was the rematch, and then 225,000 on the first one.
Yeah, so if it did 600 last time, and that had Wilder in at a good time of the day or evening, not sure you get 500,000.
No.
I mean, I think you're lucky to get half, but let's say half of 300 maybe.
Yeah.
But they're always going to say this, and we'll never find out the number anyway, or the real number.
No, that's true.
So,
that is true.
But
But anyway,
it might fall on the weekend that you can't do as well.
Yeah,
because I'm all over going to this one.
Yeah, if it's on that last weekend of April, I will be out for that, unfortunately. Other commitments, but yeah, I just hope that we get it. I really, really hope that. I mean, I've always said I really hope that it happens. I just doubt that it will. I'm still not. I wouldn't put my mortgage on it happening. There's still some other kind of fuckery that could come into play. Arbitration. Failed drugs test, illnesses, injuries. I think I still stand by what I said, that Fury's team do not want to fight Whyte. I mean, Fury has called out every man and his dog. His team have talked about Helenius, Andy Ruiz. They've even talked about Francis Ngannou, other than fighting Dillian Whyte. So that just tells me that they never wanted to give him this shot. So, and the press conferences are going to be interesting, and it would be interesting to see not just Dillian Whyte, but his team, and Dean Whyte, and that camp just getting under the skin of Fury. It's going to be electric. That press conference.
I'd pay 20 quid pay-per-view for the press conferences, but
I just hope they let Eddie Hearn in as well. I think it's a masterstroke, a PR win if they let Eddie Hearn in. They won't want to, but if they let him in, then it helps. He helps them sell the fight. He might not want to go.
Yeah, he might not want to help them sell it, but I think he'll struggle to resist a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think it would help. But yeah, it's Frank Warren maybe like, I don't know how you fully stop them if Whyte wants someone there. Again, could be another contractual thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when Canelo's last fight, they didn't want him. They didn't want to hurt anywhere near, did they?
No.
PBC. So. No,
they didn't.
And he didn't. And he went to the fight, didn't he? But he didn't appear at all. So it might be something like that. But I hope not. I just wonder if Warren would be a bit thinking like that. I think if Hearn had won the purse bid, he'd have let Warren take part.
Yeah, he would. I think Frank Warren does have a tendency to be a little bit more to be petty. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks.
We've talked about the ifs and buts, but if it does happen, and obviously we'll do a prediction fight nearer the time where we know it's actually on, where your early thoughts?
I mean, the smart money has got to be on Tyson Fury, I think. But I mean, I've written off Tyson Fury a few times. Klitschko, I didn't think he'd beat Klitschko. And he's proved me wrong so many times. I find it very difficult to go against Tyson Fury in this because he just finds a way. I do think that with the fast feet and the head movement, I don't think it's where it was maybe a couple of years ago. He definitely didn't look as sharp. He definitely wasn't in good shape in the last Deontay Wilder fight. He still had enough to. Deontay Wilder nearly won that fight against all odds. There was maybe kind of a round or a round and a half where Deontay Wilder looked like he might take over. And we know, the dog in Dillian Whyte is going to make it incredibly uncomfortable for Tyson Fury. He's going to have 12 rounds of hell. That's what I predict. But does he have the skill to beat Tyson Fury? I don't think so. I think Tyson Fury wins, but I think he might hit the deck. I think Dillian Whyte will catch him with a left hook. But he's got a good chin. He's got a good chin, and even if he gets knocked down, we know he'll come back up again. And I just think he's got the he's got a good inside game, Fury, and I think that'll definitely come into play because Dillian Whyte likes to fight on the inside. Tyson Fury's inside fighting is actually quite underrated. A lot of people, always talk about his ability to dance around on the outside, like his inside fighting and the dark arts. He's also very good at. I just think all round, I would be backing Fury pretty heavily, probably maybe 70-30. What about you?
I think a lot of it depends on Fury.
Yeah.
In two areas really, his conditioning. Because I think, like you said, in at least two of the Wilder fights, he was not, in best nick. And then just his strategy, his plan. So I think the more he brings into the distance shrinks between them, the better it is for Whyte. If it gets to close quarters, he's making it a tighter fight for me. But if I have to predict now, I'd be going like late stoppage Fury.
Really?
But I wouldn't be surprised if he hits to death. I think a couple of things. I think I agree with you. I can see Fury hitting the deck. I mean, how many times has Fury hit the deck and he's got up and he's survived?
Yeah.
He has an ability to survive through holding, and still having his wits about him and keeping his movement, and sometimes coming on the attack. And a bit like Wilder, Whyte can get a bit emotional and just start swinging sometimes. And I think if he got him down, he'd come swinging, and that's not the way to do it with Fury. It's got to be, intelligent pressure.
Yeah.
And picking your shots, not come flying in. And that's another thing that might go against him a little bit. And I think he'll end up getting tired out, because we have seen Whyte towards the end of fights. We've not seen him at the back end of a fight for a while, but he always does look out of it. And he gets that, he has that weird stance, like he's absolutely knackered. He looks like that anyway in the first round. It just gets worse. So yeah, I would go late stoppage for Fury, but the less shape he's in, and the more he brings it into close quarters, the more it plays into Whyte's hands. And I wouldn't be, if Whyte knocks him out, I wouldn't be over surprised. I wouldn't be, oh my God, I never saw that coming, because I can see a world where that happens. But I'd still, back Fury.
Yeah, I think I would as well. Well, keeping everything crossed, let's hope it goes ahead. All right, cool. I think we've talked that one to death. What else have we got? What other news? We've had some boxing this weekend, didn't we?
I didn't watch it, but Makabu, I'm not going to try and pronounce the guy's name either. I think it was a mandatory is it WBC?
WBC, yeah.
Yeah, cruiserweight. He's actually not been beaten since Bellew.
Has he not?
Now Makabu. Yeah, I was looking at his box rec. I'm not going to go and say he's fought the creme de la creme of the cruiserweight division, but yeah, he's not been beaten since. But this was a tight fight because it was a split decision. I didn't see it, and I don't know if there's been some kind of backlash from it. If it was, someone feels they were robbed. I mean, in a split decision, someone always feels they're robbed, don't they? So yeah, whether he'll fight Canelo, I mean, that's gone a bit quiet now.
That's gone quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think the word I'm hearing for Canelo is Jamal Charlo next. I think Eddie Reynoso has been talking about Charlo. I think that will be. It's quite close now, though, isn't it? 5th of May. I mean, we're only 3.5 months away from that.
I mean, that's another reason why the Whyte Fury fight shouldn't slip a week.
Yeah,
because it'd walk into that one.
Yes,
and I don't think they go up against each other. Is that that holiday that they try and fight on?
Cinco de Mayo, yeah. Cinco de Mayo, yeah. So that's obviously a big one for Canelo and Mexico. So yeah, you don't really want to be close to it either. Really, you don't want to be the week before.
Yeah,
if you can avoid it.
And,
but
I mean, I saw an interview with Dan Raphael, and he was saying that he thinks that Eddie Hearn maybe working on a fight for that weekend with Canelo.
Really?
I mean, I think he's working something up. Whether he'll tempt him, I think he's almost looking at offers, isn't he? But you think about it, it makes you wonder when Joshua Usyk will go and whether that get pushed into June. If you've got
I think that
Fury,
will be June.
You know, you've got Fury Whyte, then Canelo versus whoever, and then, you know,
I think AJ Usyk is in June, is my best guess, which is quite a way off. But I think a further away, I think probably suits AJ. Just gives him more time to prep. But yeah, that would be my best guess, because that's going to be pretty congested now, isn't it? Like the May-June schedule. Yeah.
Looking great half of the year though.
Yeah, for sure.
If all these things happen, I mean, ifs and buts, but
yeah, let's just hope it all goes ahead. Is there any more news on Deontay Wilder coming back? You hearing anything?
No, actually, just I mean, just not hearing anything at all. It's odd. It's not even any like rumors.
Yeah, I heard that Andy Ruiz got offered the Filip Hrgović fight for the IBF. I think he was next in line after Tony Yoka.
I think everyone's been offered that. I'm waiting for them to ring me. Parker's starting to make some noise about Ruiz. I saw an interview with Parker. Because you can see whether they really want to fight or fight the person. But whenever someone's in an interview, they always start to call out one person. That's almost whom they're aiming for. And saw an interview, and he was talking about Ruiz, saying, "Oh, I'll knock him out this time." It's it'd be a second fight for them too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah,
it'd be interesting because both have changed so much. You know, Ruiz, when what he did with Joshua and stuff, and then Parker's reinvented himself. So it would be that's one fight I would actually like to see, even though we've seen it once before. I think it could well be a very different fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just going back to Canelo. Do you think Eddie Hearn has got like a decent proposition for him? Because I don't think he really has anybody left to offer Canelo, does he? I think Dimitri Bivol is what he was talking about as the next fight at light heavy. But I don't really fancy that, do you? Canelo versus Bivol.
I prefer Charlo, but I wouldn't be disappointed. I'd be disappointed if there's like a crap mandatory or something like that on one of the belts. Yeah. But I think, Hearn's very much said he thinks he should go down the light heavy route. I think PBC they won't just offer him Charlo up. They'll want to lock him in.
Yeah.
I think that's a stumbling block to that.
Yeah, I think they're all going to try and do that.
Well, I think Hearn will probably offer less enticing fights, but he'll be happy just to carry on with this fight by fight basis. Because he does it with lots of fighters. He does it with Whyte. He did it with Bellew.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he be bothered doing it with Canelo? I mean, he'd love to lock him in, but I think he'd be all right with it. Where PBC, if you're offering a Charlo up, they're almost going to, it'll have to be that he's locked into some kind of deal.
Yeah. But I think the PBC has better fights for him. Charlo, the other Charlo, Benavidez, they're generally better fight. Maybe even Errol Spence if he steps up. Like skill wise, I think he has areas where he can control Canelo. But yeah, staying with the middleweights, Demetrius Andrade, is he going to be stepping up to 168? I was hearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I mean, I heard he was doing, then it went quiet, and now I'm hearing more stuff. I've not heard much from Hearn about it, but yeah, it's all indications that he's stepping up. I mean, he's just someone who's really struggling to get. We've spoke about this loads of times, haven't we? Just not getting the big fight that he needs for his career. Yeah,
it's a real shame. But I think a step up rather than fighting that, I can't remember that guy's name that he was getting mandated to fight to defend his belt. I think that is the move to step up to the 168 and become mandatory for Canelo.
It's the Warren fighter.
Yeah, Zach Parker.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad fight. He's pretty underrated, I think, Zach Parker. He looks decent. All right, I think that's pretty much it. I did see Ryan Garcia has been calling out George Kambosos pretty heavily on Twitter, but I don't know about you. I'm just
Well,
not
where's he
sold.
been?
Yeah, he hasn't fought for.
You can't. I mean, I know they do it, but he's meant to be fighting. Then he goes off saying he's got, mental illness. Fair enough, but then pipes up and starts calling someone out. Come back, have a couple of, at least have a warm-up fight, look good, and then.
Yeah. I had a feeling this would set you off.
Yeah.
But the problem is you've got all of those.
It's the vodka. It's the vodka I'm doing.
You've got all of those lightweights, and we have no idea who's the best. But there's some cracking fights in there. Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez, Kambosos now is in the mix. Haney and Ryan Garcia, but we're not going to see any of them fight against each other. I don't think. None of them are even close. Maybe Kambosos Haney is probably the closest, but yeah, it's a real shame.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. Should we get together on Tuesday? We'll do a quick prediction for Eubank Williams.
Yeah. I mean, that card's. I don't know the ins and outs of the card, but I think Fraser Clark's making his debut, so that'll just be interesting. I think he got bronze medal in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Team GB. So always good to see him. And I think Dubois' sister's making a debut.
Okay.
Well, I can't remember her first name. Just one other thing. I can't remember all their names, but they've started to release the Olympians who they've actually signed for. So I think Matchroom have got a couple. They've got the only gold medalist, which is Yafaya. He's the brother of
Galal Yafai.
Yeah, can never remember all the names, but he's got two brothers. One who got to world title. I think the other one to get Europeans the furthest he's gone.
Cal Yafai won the WBC. Was it Superfly? And then Gamal Yafai, I think, got to European. He wasn't quite as good. But they say that Galal Yafai is actually the best of the three, like in terms of skills, much more accomplished as an amateur anyway.
Yeah, well, they're throwing him in at his first fight is going to be 10 rounds for a WBC title, not the title, but like an international title. Yeah,
because it's been on the World Boxing Super Series circuit, which is 10 rounds anyway.
Yeah, they're calling it. We're doing it Lomachenko style.
Yeah.
Well,
Joe Joyce was on the World Boxing Super Series circuit, and I think that's why he went straight in. He went in pretty deep. I think he debuted against that guy that fought Dillian Whyte, and then he fought. He went in pretty deep as well, Joe Joyce. But they needed to kind of rush him in.
Who he fought?
Yeah. Lewison. Yeah, fought Lewison, I think, as his debut. Yeah.
But it wasn't for any. It wasn't for any title.
No.
I doubt if it would have been 10 rounds.
No, but it wasn't like an absolute pudding like you get with people that turn pro. The first 10 fights are just kind of
like that Italian
watching.
Joshua fought. Can't remember his name.
Yeah. I can't.
He's never fought. If you go on BoxRec, he's never fought again.
Has he not? But I mean, Joshua was he was so basic at the beginning, though, wasn't it? If you watch some of his earlier fights,
Well, it's just a cannonball each winning,
Yeah, all guns blazing.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So, we'll catch up on Tuesday. Thanks, everybody, for listening.